pool now to Kingsbury, just over by the car park swim. Wendy and I have just come for a walk and she's sitting on the bench and I'm down at the side of the lake just watching loads of fish. I don't know whether you can see those out here, there's all fish out here, I don't know if you can see them. Oh, and a little Canada goose come to see me there. But yeah, just looking at these, making me think I've got everything prepared at home, all ready to go. Just want the government to lift this ban and we can get out and do a bit of fishing, doing what we love. Look, you can see there's absolutely loads of them out there. I don't know how well you can see it on here. I've got all my rigs all sorted, my baits all sorted. Made all new rigs, new hooks. In fact, I think when I get back, I'll do a bit of video and show you some of the rigs that I've made. Might be of interest to some, might be helpful to some. Yeah, when we get back, we'll do that. But in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy watching these fish and thinking to myself, can't be that long now, surely. Oh yeah, well, I'm back from a walk around Kingsbury Water Park and being tormented by all the fish just swimming around on the surface and knowing because of the lockdown we're in at the moment that we can't get out there and fish for them. But as I said to you earlier, let's have a look at some of the rigs that we're using. It'd be really good to get comments from yourselves, and perhaps even if you could put little clips up yourself of the type of rigs that you're using. It's interesting, it may help others as well. So let's have a look at the two main rigs that I use. The two that I use basically are just these two here. We've got the spinner rig, or Ronnie rig, whichever you pretend to call it, and which I use obviously for my pop-ups, made using a J Precision size 6 curved hook. Then we've got a solid stiff mono there for the boom section, a Fox sinker, and another little inline sinker there just to keep everything pinned down. Both ends have been crimped. I find they're very strong and also nice and neat and tidy. And yeah, I use that for basically all my pop-up setups over varying different bottoms. Yeah, changing the boom accordingly as I need to. And then for my wafters, I don't tend to use bottom baits that much, to be truthful, unless I'm using them like a bottom bait and a little pop-up to create a sort of snowman effect. But ordinarily I'm just using a little wafter rig like this, and I like my wafters to sit just like that, so the hook is flat on the bottom. I mean, some people prefer them sitting up. I prefer mine just sitting just that, with the hook just on the bottom like that, so as it's picked up. Now I find again that I'm using the same hook pattern, the J Precision size 6 curved shank, straight point, microbarb, exceptionally sharp. Now this is set up on a multi-rig, so we've got a flexible piece of braid there down onto a boom section there, which gives you that lovely sort of hinge effect there, allowing the hook to turn and move and catch hold. Find this extremely aggressive. If you run this across your hand, it catches into your hand every single time. And I find that's it. That's the two that I use. I use them with a helicopter system, but also when I use the helicopter system, I don't tend to have the rig floating up and down the lead core or the leader. What I do is I use one of the Avid chod bead setups, and that's like a little plastic bead with a plug and a socket, which enables you to keep the hook link exactly on the leader, exactly where you want it, set in the depth. And I find then that doing it that way, you have got constant connection with the lead, so as soon as the fish picks the bait up, it's feeling the lead straight away. but it does give you the option to adjust exactly where your rig comes off the leader, to compensate for any silt or any sort of bottoms that you need to consider. So yeah, basically that is my setup. Another little tip I'll share with you now is how I deal with my wafters. Pop-ups not a problem. They'll pop up, they'll sit up. I mean, these ones that we do will sit up there for forever and a day. Not a problem. Wafters, now as I said earlier, a lot of people like the wafters like that. Some like them like that. Some wafters you can buy in a packet and you think they're almost pop-ups, and they'll sit up here somewhere. So how do you adjust it to the way that you would like it to be? The most common way people do it is to start trimming down the wafters until they become to the exact sort of critically balanced as people would like them. But personally, I like to keep the wafter exactly as it is. And what I do, it takes a little bit of experimenting, but it's well worth it. And if you've got a jar of wafters there, they're all going to be virtually the same buoyancy. It's not a problem. What I do is I change the swivel. There's a swivel obviously sitting just there, and what I do is I match the swivel to the wafter that I'm using. We all tend to see these very small micro swivels, which is fine, but yeah, they're very, very light, and if the wafter is too buoyant, you're going to end up here somewhere like this. So what I do is I match the swivel to the wafter. So at an extreme, we'll say I'll fit a size 8 swivel onto this hook, and when it's connected with this wafter, you'll then find that the wafter sits perfectly just like that. So what I do is I carry a range of different sizes of swivels that I can just drop the bead off, put another swivel on, put the bead back on, and away you go, and you get the wafter sitting exactly as you would like it, just using the swivel as the counterbalance for the wafter. And I find that works for me. But as I say, it may sound a bit fiddly, but if you're using a full pot of wafters, as I've just said, they're all going to be at the same buoyancy. So once you've got the swivel that is right for that wafter, then there's no need to change it then, obviously. But it's just the way that I do it. I'm not saying it's the right way, I'm not saying it's the best way. It's just the way I do it, and it works for me. Well, I hope that was useful. But really would look forward to hearing your comments and your suggestions and ways that you use your rigs, some of the materials that you use, and we could just help one another. But anyway, for now, over and out.